Hi, I'm Steve Hoffman. Thanks for joining us again. Today I'd like to talk about the importance of quietness in your life, a meditative mind, a place where you let go of the noise and chatter that's around us everywhere. All the entertainment, the cell phones, and all that stuff. Just quieting the mind. I think about a time recently, it was almost a year ago, when I was riding in a car on a 2-hour trip to an antique show with my designer. We were going along in the car. We were listening to music, and it was music of the 70s. And I started to talk about Chicago, particularly Terry Kath of Chicago. And I started to tell Jackie the story of how Terry Kath started it all, was considered the greatest guitar player ever. I told more history of Terry's life and how his life tragically ended 6 or 7 years after leaving the band. He killed himself. It was either Russian roulette or he was cleaning a gun, but Terry was dead, and his music lived on. We enjoyed the antique show in the sweltering heat. At about 3 o'clock, I was ready to call it a day. And for some reason, I was drawn to a certain dresser. It was an Art Deco dresser. I didn't need a dresser, and I walked off the path, and I looked at the dresser and said, the people said, "Can I help you with anything?" And I said, "No, I'm just looking, and I am actually enjoying the breeze." They said, "Well, take your time, and if we can help you with anything." And at that moment, a Chicago song went on. And I said, "Oh, and the music also, I like the concert." They said, "Have you been to a Chicago concert?" I said, "Yes, 8 times. And they said, "We've been to 29 Chicago concerts because we're from that area." I said, 29 concert has to be the record. And the man said, "Well, Terry Kath sat ahead of me in homeroom." I told him the story, and Jackie nearly fell over, that we were talking about Terry Kath 6 hours before. I never talk about Terry Kath. And here I am, 300 plus miles away from his hometown, and I'm talking to the man who sat behind him in homeroom. And that's the benefit of a quiet mind. One of the most powerful speakers that I ever heard, I didn't enjoy at the time. I listened to him, and he was very quiet. He didn't offer a lot of information. In fact, he said few words with broken English. Because of that, I believe I was really able to hear his thoughtful voice. That speaker I heard over 10 years ago, and it's never left me. I think about his voice and what he said and the way he said it. His speech, much like many speakers today, wasn't full of information. It was filled with the Spirit, and it was inspiration, in spirit. Never forgot his voice, never forgot the way he was. And I took a part of that with me to an event that I really didn't even care for at the time. In our Western world, there's so much in the presentation, the delivery, the packaging, the marketing, how we can present ourselves in just a very, very favorable light, how we can be flawless in our presentation. I've heard a lot of presentations, and I've heard things that are presented in a flawless manner, where the information is given to you. In fact, a real blueprint for the way it's given is, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you some stories, and then I'm going to tell you what I just told you. Follow me on that? No, I really don't. I don't want to follow you on that. I want to conjure up things in my mind that become readily apparent to me when I'm quiet. Yogis get this at the mat when they're doing their stretches and triangles and downward dogs. Their mind becomes quiet. Runners, it's called a runner's high. Golfers, when they can quiet their mind, they can overcome the little white ball and getting it in the hole. I'm a golfer, and when the mind is noisy, it's very, very noisy. But when it's quiet, it's so beautiful. And that's the serenity we look for in golf. I've become a swimmer, and I've been doing this for over a year and a half. In the year and a half that I've been a swimmer, many things have happened. I started in the pool for 20 minutes. 20 minutes that I really didn't look forward to. There's a big clock up on the wall, and I would do a series of strokes there and back. I would change the formation and how I swam, but I would always be looking at the clock. It was painful for me, but it was a discipline that I wanted to do. I would think about excuses why I wouldn't want to swim. Why is that? Because I had to be in the company of my mind and all the racing and all the chatter that was going into my mind. After 6 months of doing this, I raised it to about a half an hour. And still, I would be in the pool and the thoughts would race through my head, but I would quiet them. To be in a meditative state while you're swimming is just pure bliss. Now I swim for 45 minutes. And the norm is the quiet mind. The mind where everything is possible. You're not reaching, you're not striving, you're not thinking of getting ahead. You're just quiet. From there, all the miracles come to be. I don't know what my life would be like without swimming. I want to thank you very much, and I look forward to continuing this series. Remember, meditate, be quiet, and dream. Thank you very much.